All right, everybody, welcome to 857 Tucson. We're sitting here with JL Wittenbraker, running for Ward 3 against, forgot his name.
Kevin Dahl.
Kevin Dahl.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of wanted to meet up with her and kind of get an update and see how this election's going. And she said she's coming out to my area. She's knocking on doors. So tell me how you feeling about everything and just, I know you said it's like 12 days away.
Yeah, we're knocking on doors daily to encourage people to vote. Voter turnout in Tucson is historically low. It rests at about 24%. But this year, and I would attribute it directly to the county recorder's decision to eliminate the outside envelope. So this year, voter turnout is even lower.
It's lower.
It is lower
Okay.
right now, and we are at a critical stage.
Okay.
Tucson they have a choice. You can continue to complain about the circumstances related to homelessness, high crime, poor road conditions, or you can vote.
Yeah.
And you do not have to stick your ballot in the mail. There are several drop-off locations, and you can also vote day of. My preference is that you vote as soon as possible. And if you don't want to stick the envelope in the mail with your signature on the outside of the envelope, your name and your phone number, you can go to a drop-off location. This election is critical. If you do not vote, Regina Romero will have a council that consists of a radical ideology that will vote lockstep with her. And Tucson is at a breaking point. It truly is. And that's why I'm running for office, and that's why I'm out here knocking on doors every day, despite the dark circles and the farmer's tan that I sport. It really is that important. Tucson is that important. Our future is dependent on what happens in this election.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that you said is if they get it, they'll have like a control.
Yes.
Right. And so, obviously, what does that do to like people like yourself if nobody in the council has any voice for like people who are voting for you or think like you? I mean, if it's all, for instance, Democrats, or if it was the reverse, what is it of having your voice in helping?
So for people who don't know, the city of Tucson is a council city manager form of government. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that the mayor and council have an equal vote. The mayor has no veto authority, and the mayor has no authority to make unilateral decisions. Mm-hmm. The mayor and council establish policy, and it's the city manager's job to implement that policy and ensure programs are being run per the city charter. Mm-hmm. Which includes appointing the chief of police, the chief of fire. The mayor and council, on the other hand, they appoint the city manager. They appoint the city magistrate, which is our court system. They appoint the city clerk, which is our election system. And they appoint the city attorney, which is our legal system in terms of how we interpret the charter and what we can and cannot do. So when an entity is appointing someone to a job, a high-paying job, chances are they're going to have some influence over the job. So number one, we need a council that is going to make wise hiring decisions. Yeah. I personally believe the city manager, the present city manager, is not doing a good job. Mm-hmm. I also believe the chief of police and the chief of fire have not been given the tools they need to run a department effectively.
Yeah.
Additionally, because the city council establishes policies, we're seeing things such as fare free transit. For your viewing audience, fare free transit has resulted in roughly a $10 million loss in revenue.
Yeah.
So the city of Tucson, the present council, which is 100% party rule, Democrat rule, has they have doubled their budget in just under 4 years. So they've gone from a $1.2 billion budget to a $2.4 billion budget, and yet they have a $37 million deficit. So you have a mayor and council that voted to continue fare-free transit despite the fact that it cost a loss of revenue of $10 million. So what is their solution to dealing with that $37 million deficit? Well, it's not to cut fare-free transit. Rather, they're going to cut $14 million from public safety. Our public safety departments are already underfunded. Public safety receives 17% of the budget. When I say public safety, that's not just police. That's police, that's fire, that's emergency services such as 911, and it's also our judicial system. So then when you divvy all that money up, any one department is not getting enough money to function effectively.
Yeah, especially in a crisis.
Yeah. And we do have a crime crisis here. And what I tell people is you get the culture you're willing to accept. If you're willing to accept potholes, you'll get it. If you're willing to accept a high crime rate, a homelessness crisis that is going into every fabric of our community, that's what you get. And that acceptance comes via a non-vote, right? When only 24% of the Tucson voting population votes, that means you're allowing 24% to decide what happens in your city.
And it seems like the loudest is always out there protesting and
yeah. The loudest, the voters are those white, middle or older liberals who are out there protesting their No King's Day. The demographic in the Sam Hughes area who is somehow insulated from the crime and the homelessness crises the rest of us have been forced to accept. Those are your voting demographics.
Well, the thing that, and I think you make great points, the thing that it's kind of like a snowball effect, so to speak, because here, once you have the crime and then you have people that really don't care, like you said, some of these residents, they're almost, we all have compassion, but they're actually almost encouraging them to stay out in these areas, saying, hey, it's okay. They're people but next thing you know, they're not living because they had an OD. And so these lives out here, they're almost enabling, saying it's okay to live in the middle of the desert in the summer. I mean, that just seems like the most ludicrous. We don't do that to dogs. You know what I mean?
There is nothing humane about it.
No.
It is a charade of compassion, and it just, it's, I just have to be candid.
Yeah.
It eases their own guilt for not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Every time someone says to me, what are you going to do with them? You can't lock them up. Well, of course we can't lock up the homeless, but we can force them into wellness programs and rehab and workforce training. And that force comes through, by the way, you can't stay here. Yeah. You can't live in our washes. You cannot live in our parks. Yeah. You cannot panhandle on our medians. but we will facilitate care for you. And that doesn't mean just endless amounts of free shelter. Shelter is not the solution.
Yeah. No, it really needs to be, a long 5-year plan. Okay, the first 30 days, 60 days is them just getting sober, right? I mean, they got to be able to know right from wrong, because a lot of them, they're so messed up that they don't even have that concept anymore of recovery.
Well, it's important to point out that our homelessness demographic, in a large portion, roughly 75, possibly 80%, is due to some sort of substance abuse or mental health crises.
Yeah.
And sometimes that mental health crisis is, in fact, the result of drug-induced psychoses. There is a demographic that fell down on their luck. There's also a demographic that is, and sadly, this is true, is the elderly. But when we apply a one-pronged solution to a very complex, multifaceted problem, we get no results. And not only that, what happens is you're unable to help those people who need the help because you're working through this sea of homelessness.
Yeah, and that's where homelessness, I heard 50% of the shelters right now are not being filled. They're, at capacity. So every night, there's half of their beds are empty.
Correct.
And that's the thing is, I talked to a couple people on the streets. As you see, I talked to some people, and one guy, I always ask him, are you planning on getting off? When's the date? Just to see what they say, because, and one guy looks at me and goes, it's the culture. It's my culture out here. And that's where, when you were saying the culture of the city, on the streets, it's the same. In Phoenix, it's a different, they have little areas where they allow it to happen. Kind of like here, but here it's really exploded because we have, like you were saying, the city that allows it almost.
Well, again, it's the culture you're willing to accept.
Yeah.
We have businesses that have suffered financially because of the homeless. We've had people who have had their homes and violated because of this constant need to feed that drug.
Yeah.
When you look at fentanyl, it's staggering. It truly is. 90% of fentanyl comes through Tucson.
Yeah.
So we have a culture of addiction.
For the whole country, which is sad. It seems like, obviously, if you look at the states, it comes in through our area.
Through our southern border and across the Native American tribal lands.
Oh, they're in.
Because there is no wall surrounding those tribal lands. Yeah. This is not okay. That's what we have to finally just say out loud. It is not okay.
Yep.
And I'm not going to watch you die because of your addiction. I can't allow that to happen.
Exactly.
Tucson is, one thing about Tucson, and this is why I fell in love with Tucson several decades ago, is we are a compassionate society. But we cannot confuse compassion with apathy.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing right now. And I started that point and I didn't finish it. And it's when people yell at me, well, you can't just make them leave. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. And if you want change, what are you doing for that change? Who are you housing in your home? What charitable organization are you volunteering at or contributing to?
Yeah.
And don't tell me that, oh, well, we can't support these organizations such as Gospel Rescue Mission or Teen Challenge, although they have a high success rate because they force God on you. Well, God is good.
Yeah.
God is good for our souls. And it's time to embrace that as well. It's time to return to having faith in our higher power and in one another. And we've lost the way.
Well, the thing about it is, I love that. That's the thing is they try to say the right is a like a religious, and the left, they're religious too. They have the Catholic Church, right? It's all good that everyone has that, but it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people is. They'll judge people because of this or that, and it's on both. As long as both have it, we could have some unity, I hope.
I hope.
And speaking of, have you ever met Kevin Dahl
Yes.
face to face?
Yes.
And have you ever questioned him on, or is it in your purview to question him about, like, dude, check out your city, or why aren't you doing anything, Kevin Dahl? Or
Yes.
I mean, before you ran, or even during the they're starting to show up.
Yeah, my door knockers are starting to show up. So
we'll wrap it up here.
I live in Ward 3.
Yeah.
And I am active politically. And I'm active politically because I took a look around and I said, I don't like what's happening in my city.
Yeah.
And it started with a council member who only works 4 hours a day. At best, because he's not in the office every day. Do you know our council makes $97,000 a year?
Yeah.
And Kevin Dahl's office is only open 9 to 1, and his staff does not return calls.
I met her one time, one of them.
And have been known to hang up on constituents. Remember, it is the government's job to govern at the consent of the governed, not the other way around. We don't work for our elected officials. They work for us. And I've called out Kevin Dahl, including times where he said, well, I just vote that way because otherwise Rahina gets mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
No, everyone should be demanding public service from their public servants.
Yeah.
And I do. And the man refuses to deal with the homelessness sleeping in our parks and our riverbeds. As a matter of fact, he has argued for it.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I've seen him. And not that, he doesn't want cleaner roads, but he's not doing it. I mean, everyone says, oh, yeah, I want it to get better, but he almost maybe encourages it a little bit. I mean, his area is, I think, number 1 or number 2. Would you think, as far as the worst? Because he just had all the issues, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ward 3 consists of the 85705
Tucson
zip
Mall
code,
and all the way.
which is one of the highest poverty rates in all of Arizona.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They recently put in the safe sleeping site on Grant and Stone, which is in Ward 3. The Pallet Village, which is pallet housing made out of pallets on Glen and Stone, and they're running the middle housing through Stone. Forgive the comment, but Kevin Dahl is a pawn, and he's allowing a radicalized mayor and council to run over him because he's afraid of the confrontation.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
He just goes along because he wants his climate thing. Do you think because he's all about, everything's about climate. He can't go 5 minutes without saying water or what.
Yeah, everything with Kevin Dahl is about the climate, and our climate is extremely important.
Gosh, yeah, that's why I grew up. If you've been here long enough, but the thing is it's like the climate is like one of 10 other things, but you can't just say climate and ignore that someone just died right outside Ward 3, office.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the people that walk by that.
Yeah. So our ecology is incredibly delicate and important. And one thing I would challenge Kevin Dahl on is he speaks of the importance of rain harvesting. He constantly talks about he was instrumental in requiring businesses to rain harvest. Well, did he think of the consequences? What about the runoff water? What does that do? If we harvest water, what happens when there's no runoff? What happens when our cacti specifically our sororos,
Yeah.
do not receive runoff. For folks that don't know, and I'm a little ecology nerd, cactus roots grow outward to collect water, not down. So if we stop that runoff, what's the impact on the surrounding desert landscape around it? Also, I would add, when you allow people to sleep in our washes, trash our washes with human feces, drug paraphernalia, trash, and not require any kind of cleanup of that, what does that do to our environment? What does that do to our groundwater? What happens when our washes fill with water? It becomes, all that trash gets pushed down the wash,
Yep.
and then it seeps into our groundwater.
Yep.
So don't talk to me about our environment, Kevin Dahl.
Yeah.
Not my good friend here.
Yeah.
But don't talk to me about the environment when you're purposely allowing things to harm our environment.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it's just the headlines, and we'll wrap it up because I know everyone's waiting for the meeting. But yeah, and the last thing I was just gonna say is with the washes, because I just saw it, is it's buried about 3 or 4 feet, because when it comes, all that sand, and it just pushes it, so it's like a big washing machine in the wash. So there's literally if they did there's probably 5 feet of trash, because you can get off that first level, but if you're not getting
Right.
and so yeah, that's definitely something that you could tell that they don't care about.
So it was reported to me, there was a cleanup effort in the wash, and what their effort was digging a big hole and sticking all that trash that was in the wash in that hole and burying it.
That's what happened. That's what I was saying. I was there because I was there
Yeah.
with the dump truck thing. He had a little and he was getting the first layer, and they were taking it somewhere, but everything underneath that.
Yeah.
So I mean, the problem is it's there. It's not, and the only way to, like and everyone said, is you can't let people live in the wash.
You cannot, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, and then what happens is they'll live there, and they need to go eat, and they're gonna go rob Circle K, and if they are successful, they're gonna have a knife next time to be successful, and it just escalates. I watch the court. You probably know that. And so, well, last thing, add it to the camera. We'll put this and let everybody get to know you better, because I think that's what a lot of people is. They don't know Kevin Dahl other than, oh, hey, I'm Kevin Dahl. They need to get to know you as a person, because you're a real person. You actually have real passion, and that's what this is about. So what do we'll close it out with all your
Well, I'll tell you this much. Kevin Dahl does not directly return phone calls. He leaves
I've
that
tried.
to his staff. He does not attend community meetings. He leaves that to his staff. My phone number is printed on every one of my campaign handouts. That phone number will remain my phone number after you elect me, but you have to vote. That is your job. You don't change anything if you don't vote, right? And I will be the one attending the community meetings. I will be the one returning constituent calls. My office will be staffed with those individuals who can take care of any immediate concern. But beyond that, you will hear from me, and you will hear from me after hours. I don't know when it became this idea came to fruition, where you, the people, have to come to your elected officials. As an elected official, I will come to you, and I will be available during off hours, not during the times there's a bug tormenting me here.
We're at a natural reserve.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Make Tucson better.
Thank you. You can learn more about me at janetfortucson.com, and you can certainly call me at 520-275-1491.
All right. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the chat.
Thank you.